What about the potential for Jalen Carter being there? And before you talk,
I want him.
Okay, before you talk, let's hear from Ryan Poles with regard to his comfort level adding a player that does have some red flags.
Yes, in a better place. I think taking the time to really get to know the guys in the locker room and understand the maturity level there. But at the same time, we also want to be careful because we're still young and impressionable. So I think making sure that we continue to bring, a good core group in is important. I think maybe down the road where, you want to take a risk like that, I think the locker room begins to run itself so you can take some chances. Right now we need both. I mean, we need talent. But at the same time, I'm still going to be a little bit cautious of, bringing in the wrong type of person.
Interpret what he just said.
That he would certainly look at any individual that's had a little bit of a sketchy past, but they would do everything in the process to make sure they would eliminate any red flags that would probably be there for an individual player. If they were going to select them, they would have to feel comfortable.
Do you believe, listening to him say that they still are open to drafting Jalen Carter?
I would probably lean that they would not.
Based on what he said.
Right, but I want him. I want him.
Build me a bridge to him being a player.
He's going to be a player.
Are you concerned, A, about his decision-making, and B?
I'm not concerned about anything with Jalen Carter. I think he's a player. I'm not worried about him being overweight. If you clear the legal aspect of all of it,
which he has,
right? Okay. Well, I want to still no stone left unturned.
Well, I know, but
I get you, but no stone left unturned. I'm going to go down there. My team, I'm going to do my own investigation.
Okay.
And if they come back and they say, hey, listen, what you see is what you get. This is what you've got here in this situation. But it would be no stone left unturned.
But you're still totally open to it.
Man.
I would not have. I'm not ruling him out either.
Yeah, I'm not ruling him out. He's a player.
Yurko,
he's a player.
One of the red flags with him is he takes plays off. I mean, isn't that
everybody does?
That's what I was going to ask. It's being a defensive tackle kind of sucks. Like, you're just getting bullied around all day. So I think it seems like it's really hard to find a guy who
sucks.
If you're going to be out there on a 10-play drive, if you're going to be there in a 10-play drive, nobody can go balls to the wall for 10 straight plays. You can't. Doesn't make a difference.
Well, make a play and get off the field sooner than that.
If your coach is not going to take you off, or you're not going to raise your hand, the coach is going to send you out. At some point, Richard Dent did this too. He's a Hall of Famer.
Well,
at some point, you've got to take a pass rush off, so you muster the strength to put in a massive effort.
Listen, I saw Rich. There was never a moment where I thought Richard Dent was not giving us everything he had. He was judicious with how he played, and he was smart. His football IQ was enormous.
Because you have to be sometimes.
So if you get a sweep going to the other side and it's 2nd and 8, he'll keep contained, but he isn't hauling ass to make the tackle on the other sideline because he knows on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5, his job is to get to the quarterback. He wants a little extra in the gas.
Wants a little extra juice.
So, I mean, it only makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. It's a defensive line. You got to be, as a lineman, sometimes you've got to be protected. I was coming off the field. The more I did my job, the less time I was on the field. So if it was 2nd and 8, I'm coming off the field.
Right.
If it's 3rd and 4 plus, I'm coming off the field. I'm coming off the field. I know it. I went back on my career. I've watched a couple of games from when I played. I forgot how little I played. So if you're doing your job,
because it's 2nd and 8, you're not out there.
So I didn't have a problem. I didn't have to conserve my energy. I was going to come out. I got more tired running to the sidelines and running back onto the field than I did actually playing football. So, but a guy that's there all the time, a Reggie White, he doesn't have that luxury.
So he's got to pace himself in certain ways.
TJ Watt.
Yes.
These guys, Bosa.
Yes.
These guys that are coming off the corner, the kid in Cleveland, the good player.
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett got to have the strength to get to where he needs to be when they need him, when they absolutely need him. It's every game's not Super Bowl, even if it's on Sunday. Only the Super Bowl's the Super Bowl. That was Herculean stuff that Aaron Donald was doing.
Yeah.
And Aaron Donald's a 3-down player in the middle. Every blue moon, you've got to get yourself a little bit of a rest. So I don't mind if he's got a little bit of I'm going to take the play off because you're getting beat. You're getting beat sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Judicious.
Offensive linemen get a chance to rest. They're on the backside of the play. They got a cut off. They get in the way. Boom. They're not looking for holding on the backside. You tug, you pull a little bit. Not an issue.
You were tugging and pulling last night, weren't you?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was at the tractor pull. Oh, yeah, you bet. A lot of fun there.
How about sticking to his draft board? Ryan Poles was asked whether or not that he'll use the same policy this year as he did last year.
It's just adding to the core of players that we want to win, here with for a long period of time. We have some needs that we got to fill. But again, it's staying disciplined and really using the draft board and the value system that we have to do the right thing in the draft as well. But this continues to set it up for, this long journey that we have.
I like their discipline. I liked what they did last year, in spite of everybody screaming that they didn't address wide receiver or offensive line. They took their best, highest rated players on their board. They're going to do it again this year because they've got a bunch of needs. Maybe they can tweak how they go about doing this in the future when they've filled more of these needs. But right now, I'm all on board with what they're doing. Michael's in Lansing. He's got a Jalen Carter question for you, good kid. Michael, what's up?
I just heard you guys talking about Jalen Carter and how you guys were talking about how him taking plays off wasn't that big a deal. I would normally agree, but I'm wondering if you guys are considering how a very similar player, Jordan Davis, also took plays off, but the difference is at his pro day, he didn't show a severe lack of athleticism for being a first-round pick. I was wondering if you guys are taking that into consideration.
Help me with Jordan Davis.
I'm not a big. I'm not sure.
Jordan Davis was a defensive tackle out of Georgia last year. He went to Philadelphia.
They're happy with him. I think he got injured during the year, though, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think he got beat up for them a little bit, but he's going to be able to come back and play for them. They signed one guy, I think, for a one-year extension, one of their older players, number 55.
Fletcher Cox.
No, Cox, and then the other guy, Graham.
Brandon Graham?
Yeah, I think they ended up signing him for another year.
Fletcher Cox, I think, signed a one-year deal.
All defensive linemen to me. They're all defensive linemen to me, whether they're in the middle or they're outside. I think, Graham's 55, I believe, is his number. I'm sitting here looking at Jordan Davis right now. Yeah, injured. Like I said, I made my statement about guys taking plays off. Great guys, the great players take a play off because they know got to muster an effort. It's tougher in the middle because you're going at it and you're engaging at the nose tackle and the three technique position. It's a little bit tougher to take the play off. Defensive end, it's a little bit easier. You can just kind of, half bake a pass rush, make it look like you're going to run a stunt and maybe not engage and just kind of float around and, still find a way to maybe get a little bit of pressure while resting. But yeah,
I would think as well, when he gets to the NFL level, he's not going to have to do it all by himself. And look, I get it. Georgia is an elite team where he does have help around him, but not in the manner in which he will have around him at the NFL level. He's not going to have to do everything.
Right. Jalen Carter is a player, and that's it. Clear the question marks you have about him in the legal system. I'm not worried once he goes through an NFL camp on whether he's going to be in shape in September or not. That's not an area of concern for me.